I sat down with Guy Rotberg, head of e-commerce at Mashbir, one of Israel's largest retailers, and we've discussed Guy's journey from practicing law in Israel to diving into the dynamic e-commerce sector in China and the United States. You'll hear about Guy's experiences in the early days of China's internet boom and his innovative approach to job searching in a country with vast opportunities and challenges. Discover how his legal background played a role in his transition to entrepreneurship and his insights into the evolution of e-commerce in both China and the US. We also discussed Guy's return to Israel and his impactful roles in leading grocery and department stores chains, focusing on strategies from consumer retention and adapting product lines to meet evolving market needs. Guy shares his perspective on the potential of omnichannel strategies and his approach to balancing work satisfaction with career growth. Tune in for an insightful conversation about career transitions, the ever-changing landscape of e-commerce, and the journey from a traditional profession to a dynamic and evolving industry. It's a story of adaptability, insight, and the willingness to embrace new challenges in a digital world. Let's get started. Welcome to the Ecom Pulse, your heartbeat to the world of e-commerce. I'm your host, Eitan Koter. Join us as we meet with industry leaders, marketing experts, and the innovative minds behind the tech that is shaping the e-commerce future. So plug in, gear up, and get ready for a pulse-pounding journey into the heart of e-commerce. Guy, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm great. Thanks for inviting me to this show. I've been an avid listener. Can't wait to see what's going on in the show.
Yes, Guy, no worries. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely plenty of topics to discuss because I know you've been very, very busy with the things that you're obviously going to share with us today. But maybe let's start with you, and everyone has a story. I know you're very passionate about e-commerce and you have great plans, but where this actually started, and you can start from whenever you want, right? Which makes you think it's relevant for our guests.
Yeah. So I used to be a lawyer back in the days. Yeah. And I practiced law for about 5 years in Israel. And I hated every minute of it, obviously. And then I had the opportunity to move to China together with my wife. She got a scholarship to study there for 1 year. And moving to China, it was back in 2005. It was the early days of the internet in China. And I got my eyes wide open when arriving to China, understanding that the world is full with opportunities. I was looking for a job for a couple of months, and then I realized that there is a problem in the process of looking for a job in China, because China is huge. I don't know if you know that. There's a lot of people there.
Yes.
And there are lots of job search websites. Back at the time, there was more than 2,000 vertical and horizontal job search websites.
Wow.
And in order to actually search for a job, you had to upload your CV to each one of those job search sites and search for a job specifically on that site. So what I and a partner of mine, which I met in China, decided to do is to build an aggregator of all the job ads in China into one easy-to-use website. We built a search engine that allowed people to actually search for a job only in one place, and upload their CV in one place and apply for a job in one place. So from a lawyer in Israel, I became a young entrepreneur in China.
Wow.
And the fun fact about it is that everybody in China, or at least the foreigner ones, they all were entrepreneurs in China. So the environment was very entrepreneurial back in the days. We later on pushed the vertical to another vertical, the real estate vertical, and we launched like a real estate second-hand and rental search engine. And we stayed in China for 4 years rather than 1 year that we should have originally. all the way to the last day of the Olympic Games in 2008. So this was my beginning of the flirt and the romance with the online marketing and the media buying and SEO and understanding how internet actually works. And in China, this experience is multiplying by numbers, because you can have in one day 100 visitors, and the other days you can have 100,000 visitors in a relatively easy at that time, in a relatively easy way to do it. But I learned a lot from that experience. And then in 2008-9, I was on the line between the China and the US. My wife, again, she got accepted to doctorate studies, PhD studies in Berkeley. And we moved to sunny California. And I had to reinvent myself after selling my startup to my investors. I had to reinvent myself, and I thought I had like a couple of options. Well, one of the options was to become a lawyer in the States once again, and I deleted that, erased that from the option list pretty fast. And the other one was to use my online marketing and experience and capabilities to build something new. And in 2008-9, it was more or less the beginning of e-commerce, or serious e-commerce in the States. I mean, Amazon was already there, eBay was already there, but other than that, there weren't any like big players, big players in the market. And Shopify, I think, did not exist back then. So I decided to build my own business, and thinking about it, it was a lifestyle business rather than a startup business, and that was done in purpose because the startup, you probably know, startup life is very hectic, and you have to report to your investors, and you have to report to everybody, and you feel very stressful. And I was living these lives for 4 years. And I wanted to relax a little bit. So lifestyle business in the e-commerce field sounded like a dream to me. Eventually, I mean, it's not a dream. You have to work. So e-commerce is not a passive income as everybody thinks it is.
Yeah.
You have actually to build stuff, and you have to work in the business. But it was also an eye-opening experience. I found a partner that actually was a wholesaler in the US, and I approached him and I said, listen, let me be your online partner, because he was selling to retailers. And we invested less than $2,000 in the business, and since then we were profitable, more or less. It was a business in Hebrew you say tchotchkes, like designed little stuff for home.
Yes.
The first lesson I had, I think it was probably in the second month of operation, was the power of media. Back at the time, I think it was Oprah or Rachel Ray. She found one of our products and presented it in one of her magazines. And in one day, we had like 16,000 orders.
Wow.
That we couldn't really fulfill. Eventually, we managed to do it, but it was a good lesson on how media works. And the second lesson was that media works for a specific amount of time, but it doesn't last forever. So, I mean, if you have 16,000 orders the first day, it doesn't mean that you'll continue to have the same amount of orders the next time.
Sure.
So I played with e-commerce in the US for about 8 to 9 years. I was consulting e-commerce businesses and startup businesses in the US. And eventually, after 9 years, my wife finished her PhD studies. And we had 2 daughters born in the US, and we wanted them to get to know their family, their Israeli family, and we got back to Israel in 2017. I played with the idea of running my own business from Israel to the US, but after 2 nights of no sleep, I decided that it's not for me.
Yeah.
So I joined one of Israel's largest grocery chain stores. It's called Tiv Ta'am. It's the equivalent, in my eyes, it's the equivalent of Whole Foods in the States, and set up their e-commerce activity. I remember that at the time, grocery e-commerce was not as developed as it is now in Israel. And the CEO of the company came to me and he said, you're a nice to have, but it's not really a part of our strategy.
Wow.
Right. And I said, okay, this is my challenge. I have to prove him wrong, right? And 2 years after, when I left the company, it was like the spearhead of the company. And 1 year after I left, the COVID-19 came, and you could only buy online groceries. So it was
Wow, yeah.
a major little victory. What else? After Tiv Ta'am, I moved to Walla Shops, which is a marketplace, or rather a large marketplace in Israel. Equivalent of Amazon in a smaller
yes.
factor. I was a VP of business development there and set up multiple projects, very interesting cooperation projects with multiple companies in Israel. And right now, in the past year, I've been acting as head of e-commerce for Mashbir, which is Israel's largest and probably oldest department store chain store in Israel. Mm-hmm. We have 36 physical stores in Israel, which in US numbers it doesn't sound a lot, but in Israel it's quite a lot. And our website is quite young; it's probably 2.5 years old, and it's growing pretty nicely. Yeah. So this is me in a nutshell.
Wow, that's a crazy journey. I think so. I have 1 or 2 insights from this. First, I probably had to invite your wife to the podcast because she's the
definitely
one to blame for all the initiatives, let's say, entrepreneurial initiatives that you had, right?
So. Well, blaming is not the right verb here. It's because of her on the positive side,
Yeah, let's make it positive. Of course, it's positive. Yeah. So, wow, really, really interesting. So you have China is like the North Star of e-commerce in the world, right?
Today,
yes, today,
yeah.
Correct. The volumes, anything that they do is like they leapfrog all the technologies to do so many things, both on e-commerce and on live shopping and, buying over, super apps. And US is all about different communities. You have Twitch and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok now it's quite diverse. And now you move to moving back to Israel. And what are some of your observations or insights? You have probably 20 years back of, when you started this journey, and also you're quite familiar with what's happening currently in the markets around the world. What are your observations or insights from these different markets?
So I wasn't really into China over the past 12 years or so, so I'm not really familiar with other than reading in the papers. Yeah. And but I can tell that back at the time when we were in China, nobody had a credit card. Mobile payments were at their infancy. It was really almost not possible to pay online, and cash on delivery was the main way of payment. And I think that China, over the past probably 15 years, they had the largest leap forward, there's a pun here. The largest great leap forward to actually leading the mobile and online payments in the world. They have so many different options for paying online. So this is something that I think differs China from probably all the rest of the world. Other than that, I think that China has become not necessarily the made in China as it used to be, but made by China. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of products that are designed in China also. I mean, it used to be designed in Italy and made in China, right?
Yeah.
So now it's also designed in China and made by China and made in China. So they took all the circle of product design, product initiative, and product manufacturing to their own home court. So this is another thing that needs to be said. And of course, there used to be only one giant in China, which was Alibaba or all the Tmall or AliExpress. And now we see a diversification of different mini Alibabas. I don't even know if they're mini anymore. You have Shein, which is Alibaba for fashion, right?
Yes.
Or AliExpress for fashion.
Temu.
We have Temu, which is AliExpress on steroids.
Yeah.
We have JD, I think it's called. So we have so many different platforms that allow people outside of China to buy things from China very easily. And I know that for a fact that when I was in the States, buying from Alibaba or AliExpress as a direct-to-consumer channel was not something to be proud of, right?
Yeah.
People were preferring to buy on Amazon, to buy on Walmart, or to buy locally. Mm-hmm. And I think that now, with Temu and Shein, I think that they're conquering US pretty fast. The buying from China is less of a quote unquote shame. It's something that has become more popular and more acceptable.
Sure, and also you see what TikTok is doing in the US, which is also, a lot of. I mean, every brand now is running to open a store on TikTok and try to sell. So yeah, it's happening obviously big time. So in terms of let's go back to the Mashbir. I mean, it's a traditional brick and mortar department store, right? A lot of branches. What was the opportunity that you saw there? Obviously, dramatic digital transformation is undergoing, but when you analyze the opportunity, I mean, what were the major topics that you had in mind in your consideration to join?
Right. So first of all, I must say that I did not set up the Mashbir's website. I joined when it was already set up to a certain point. So I can divide the question into two. So the first one, what was Mashbir's incentive to actually go and set up a website? And the reason for that is quite simple. It's divided into two. Again, the first one was the COVID and Corona. They saw what happens when the branches are forced to be closed and you don't have any other channel to work with. So a website is a must. And the second one, which is more, timeless, is that growing same store year over year in retail, you can probably grow in single figure percentages. Like 3% is a nice growth.
Yeah.
And once you set up an online presence, you can grow in double figures, triple figures, and basically you almost have no limitations. I mean, the limitation in Israel is, it's a small country and rather limited way of growth. But still, if you start in a relatively modest place, you can grow significantly to become a giant. As for my reasons to join, so when I moved from the States to Israel, I had only one dream: to bring Amazon with me. This is the only thing that was missing. I wanted to get my packages in 4 hours, as we used to do in Berkeley, and to get an endless variety of whatever I want in reasonable prices. I thought I would be able to do it in Walla shops, but Israeli reality hit me in the face, and it was pretty difficult to do it. But I think that joining a department store that actually has, I think we have 99% of our inventory in our own logistics center, can allow Mashbir to become something like Amazon. I mean, it's not a marketplace per se, But I mean, my current vision is not to become Amazon, but to become Target.
Okay.
We have a very similar business model. Target is way larger, obviously, and is more professional at this point. But the idea of getting everything you need in one place. Did you know that there is like a dictionary definition for Target? It's called the Target effect.
Really? What
Yeah.
it is?
If I remember correctly, it's going into Target, meaning to buy only a few things and get with much more than that.
Yes. Yeah.
So I wanted to create this feeling in the Mashbir website, and eventually to take the Mashbir website experience eventually to the branches themselves. So this is a challenge, obviously. It's a 75 years old organization. There's a lot of obstacles on the way, but we're on the way there.
Culture.
Yeah, culture. Yeah. Exactly.
So what are the KPIs? I mean, what are the targets of this platform, and how are you going to differentiate in the market?
The general formula for e-commerce is traffic multiple conversion rate multiple average order value equals revenue, right? The problem with this formula is that traffic costs a lot of money. You have to take Google and Facebook and probably other TikToks or whatever as your partner, and this is a very hefty partner.
Yes.
And it's the right formula for a beginning business because you don't really have a way to utilize or bring traffic to your website. The fact that here at Mashbir we already have like a rather large database of customers, both offline and online, brought me to move from that formula to I mean, I didn't invent anything here, but it's to a newer formula, which is customers multiple frequency multiple average order value equals revenue. So that means that we should create a funnel which is much smaller than the original funnel, a funnel that will keep on bringing new customers to our list, and then entice the customers, the customer base that we already have, to buy more frequent.
Okay.
And we are going to do it with different tools and strategic items.
Yes. So the focus is on retention. That's,
if you want to call it this way, yes, I try to sound smarter,
Yeah. It's still a retention definition. You talk about target definition, so retention definition is still an evolving one, right? But it's the idea that in this era, post-pandemic, and I see that everywhere also from the other guests, acquisition is very, very difficult, right?
Exactly.
These days, all over. And how do you work with your existing, how do you engage more with your existing customers and upsell in various ways? So what are some of the retention tactics that you are looking at, that you think are worth exploring or working?
We have 4. I mean, I'm not going to jump into the tactics. I will probably talk more high level.
Sure.
And high level is more of we have 4 legs for this plan. The first leg is a variety of products. We are currently having like a few, like probably 40,000-50,000 SKUs on our website.
Okay.
But it sounds like a lot, but it's wide, but it's not deep. Okay. So we are going to choose better products, to expand our category variety, and to buy or have more inventory in specific categories that work better. If you want to phrase it in one word, in one sentence, it's make the inventory more relevant to our customers. Okay. The problem with the website is that it takes the inventory variety or the product variety from the stores, and after a few focus groups that we made, we realized that the customers in the stores and the customers online are completely different. they're younger, they're more
Yeah.
digital oriented, etc. So the products that we are offering on the website should be different. So this is one leg. This is very basic, but it's important.
Yes.
The second leg in terms of retention is a loyalty program. Mashbir has already a club or a loyalty program for their offline customers, and being a retailer, it's a very complicated program, and I wanted to create something that is super simple, that it's very easy to join, and no friction whatsoever in joining our loyalty program, and to add some sort of gamification to it, meaning we have like different tiers, and in order to get to a specific tier, you have to get to a certain goal, and if you got to that tier, you get more points, or get more discounts, or get more whatever, and then you have another tier, and another tier, and another tier. So the more you get deeper into the tiers, you have more incentives to actually to stay with us, because you get larger discounts, and moving back to my inventory and variety leg, you also have a lot to buy, a lot of options to buy.
And you increase your level within the tiers also by purchasing or buying offline? No,
it's a completely online. Okay. I didn't want to interrupt the offline club. It's a different story, but it's a good idea. We'll think about it.
Think about it.
Yeah. And the third tier is a customer experience. Being a 2.5 years old website means that we still have a lot to improve. And it means both in the customer service part, and shipping speed, etc., and answering and channels for customers, and also in the customer experience on the website itself, speed and visual and features. The fourth one, which is kind of fluid leg, was meant internally to our team to try to rethink their approach, and I phrased it by something like technology. You should look at technology not as a threat, but as an opportunity, which is a Steve Jobs quotation. It's not me. Meaning that we shouldn't be afraid of constantly trying new technologies in order to help us move fast, fail fast, and succeed fast in whatever we're doing. So we're if it is analytics tools, if it is social tools such as Vimy, logistics in the warehouse, etc., etc. So this is one of the legs of our strategic plan. And the fifth one, which is not really a leg, is that we have to do all four combined. I mean, if we took one off, probably the plan would not work. So this is, as I mentioned, it's not really a retention plan per se, but it's more of how are we going to do it within the next couple of years.
Yeah. Just to give listeners more perspective in terms of the catalog and the product line, and you mentioned around 50,000 SKUs, and the plan to probably, I don't know if to increase the SKUs, but to make them more relevant, right, to customers, right? So I see, all over, brand and retailers are trying to reduce the number of SKUs and just focus on those that are more profitable. Same on markets, right? Try to reduce markets that are not that profitable. So just to give the listeners more perspectives in terms of the catalog, what type of products are you involved with?
Well, we're a department store, so we're currently having 12 categories. It runs all the way from electricity, electronic appliances, through sports and shoes and fashion and beauty and underwear, undergarments. What else? Home, obviously home style. And when I said increasing the number of categories, I meant both in both ways. I mean, both decreasing and increasing. It should be very elastic. And the fact that we are online and we have our branches to back us up in terms of, if we fail with the specific product line that we bring, it gives us like peace of mind to try lots of different categories, such as toys, for example. We currently don't have toys on the website, but we do sell kids' clothes. So it could be a nice upsell, or it could be a nice cross-sell. If we brought toys, we don't really know if it works, but we can easily try them and see if it works. If it doesn't work, we can throw the inventory to the branches. Not throwing, we can move it to the branches, to the stores, and sell it there. And at the same time, one of my trade department main task is to reduce inventory that is not selling. So this is it's a basic task.
Yes,
but it's important.
It's important. And the primary goal, obviously, of the websites are D2C, right? Direct to consumers. But I know you also have evaluating or exploring a variety of also B2B initiatives, right? And partnerships.
Yes. Unfortunately, I can't really talk about it right now because it's not out. We have grand plans to dive into the B2B and B2C market. But that's all I can say about it right now.
Okay, great. And also you are developing your own brand, right? I mean, that you are developing a variety of products around specific brand names, right?
Correct. So Mashbir is the exclusive importer for some brands from Europe. We sell a brand named Okaidi and Obaby, which is kids from France, very organic fashion, very quality products. We sell Eitan or Etam. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. This is a French underwear brand, similar, equivalent to Victoria's Secret. We sell Morgan, which is a French women's clothing. And we also sell a brand named Kenneth Cole, which you're probably familiar with. It's an American designer, which we are the exclusive franchise holder in Israel. And we developed a large line of products, over 10 categories for Kenneth Cole. And I think we launched it about 2 years ago, and it's been a huge success here in Israel from almost zero awareness to the brand. I think that in Israel, as percentage of people who are familiar with the brand is the largest percentage in the world comparing to the population.
Wow.
So the people from Kenneth Cole here in Israel did a great job here.
Yes. Guy, specifically around omnichannel and some of the let's say concerns or things that are happening offline that you bring into consideration when you make decisions for your online strategy and plans. Can you share some of these examples, and how do you see this offline online being implemented for Mashbir?
Well, you'll be surprised to hear I'm a huge what's the opposite of a proponent? Opponent? I'm a huge opponent for omnichannel.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Specifically for Mashbir. To name a few reasons. So the first reason is that the audience, the customers are completely different. So we're not sure that the experience in the stores would benefit the experience in the website and vice versa. I can say also that the Mashbir's website originally was launched under a different brand name. It was launched under a brand named 365, which is one of the Mashbir's trademark names. And we changed it back to Mashbir because Mashbir still has a brand awareness in Israel, but the change didn't really change the customer base. The customer base remained much younger than the stores. And at this point, I think that mixing or confusing or offering an omni-channel experience between the stores and the website is probably too early. So to soften my initial thought here, it's not that I'm a big opponent of omnichannel on the long run, but I think that for now, it's something that is not relevant for both sides, for the stores and for the website.
Yeah, maybe because of 75 years of operation and a solid customer base offline, then you launching the website, want to attract new customers base and zero in on these customers and understand exactly what they need and focus more instead of providing at this stage variety of offline online experiences.
Correct, yeah. But thinking about it now, I mean, I'm also in charge of a newer operations here in Israel that we're running with Mashbir, which is it's working with Wolt. I'm not sure if your listeners know Wolt because it's a European. It's a rather large European company,
yeah.
And Wolt has launched in Israel in 2018 as similar to Uber Eats in the States.
DoorDash, kind of thing.
DoorDash, yeah, the same. And they moved to actually serving the retail industry as well. I think it was probably over the past 6 to 8 months. And Mashbir has joined Wolt as one of the first pilot stores in the fashion industry back in September 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And we launched our first store in September, and I think that now we are already at 15 stores working with Wolt all around Israel. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to launch another store. So it's not really an omni-channel, right? But it shows the ability to actually utilize the store local presence with an online platform.
Interesting. Yes. Yeah, I know it's going very, very well. So
yeah,
well done on this. I guess there are more in the pipeline to come.
Yeah.
Great. What else, Guy? Anything else you want to add specifically for the Mashbir? Your plans for the next years, or something you want to share with us?
Not really. I mean, I'm positive and optimistic as for the future of Mashbir.
Yes.
I hope the same for Israel. That's it.
Nice, Guy. So what you're proud of in your career?
That's a good question. What am I proud of? I'm proud of two things. The first one is that I wake up every day and I want to go to work.
Wow.
Which is not, it's not something to be shy of.
Yeah.
I have challenges at work every day. I'm in love with whatever I'm doing. Not only in Mashbir, in every path of my career, up until the moment that I left my law job. So I said I'm proud of two things. So the first thing is that I'm going to work every day with a smile, and the second thing that I'm proud of in my career is that I managed to pull out of being a lawyer.
Yeah.
I mean, my previous boss. He's still a lawyer in that office, and we ride bicycle every Saturday, and he's really, really miserable. And I'm happy all the way.
Okay,
so yeah.
I mean, it's a kind of a common thing, for senior execs, in the e-commerce industry. I mean, the passion for the industry, it's something that is really needs to be appreciated, and I can see that's all over. It's really amazing. I guess it's because of every year new things are evolving and it's changing so fast, and new technologies are available and new marketing tactics. So I guess it's this ever evolving change is important. Anything you want to share? Some fun fact about you, Guy?
Fun fact about me. There's a video here, right? So people can see me. I'm bald. I used to have a hair back in the day, so that's a fun fact. And I used to be a DJ when I was in China. I used to be a DJ in Israel, but it was like a side job. It was something that I had as a hobby. And in China, one day, some German guy approached me, and he overheard that I used to be a DJ, and he said, "Listen, I'm going to be your agent." And I said, "Listen, I'm an amateur. I'm not really a DJ."
Okay.
And he said, "No worries, you can be a DJ." And after a week or so, he sent me to this faraway city in Xinjiang, which is like it was very far. We lived in Beijing. It was like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
From Beijing, and I reached the city there, and I see a huge poster of mine over like a 3-story building.
Wow.
With me with my yellow hair. I used to have like a bleached hair with earphones, and my DJ name was DJ Justice after me being a lawyer.
After
you know,
the lawyers, yeah.
Yeah. And then I saw the name over there. It was DJ Just Ice.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is a second career that I wish I could carry on right now, but it was pretty nice in China.
Wow.
It
So
was
you actually performed
electronic music. Yeah. I then performed in many other cities. It was a lot of fun.
Wow, very nice.
So not many people know this. So,
so that's why I'm asking. It's a nice opportunity. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for your valuable insight, and thank you for your time. I wish you all the best. Great success with Mashbir and all your plans. Thank you, Guy. Thank you so much.
You too. It's been a pleasure being here.
Okay. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. Your support means the world to us. If today's episode has been insightful for you, consider sharing it with someone who would also benefit. Even one share can make a big difference. Looking to elevate your e-commerce game? Discover Vimy, a multi-channel e-commerce platform that will transform your business with the power of shoppable video. Visit us at vimy.net to learn more. It's Vimy, VIMMI.net. Thank you for being part of our journey. Stay tuned for more invaluable insights in our next episode.